we're covering the second season of the Overwatch League. So kick back and relax for this ride down memory lane, and don't forget to vote for your favorites in this edition of Bracketology. So, what do we remember about the 2019 season? Well, 8 new teams joined the league. We took the show on the road. There were a few miracles, some totally normal wardrobe choices, wannabe rap gods. Stick to the games, fellas, that's my territory. And of course, even some goats. But ultimately, it was the cheeky plays and insane matches that went the distance that defined this great era of the Overwatch League.
Urster just aced it!
For those of you wee tots that are new to the league, pull up a chair as Papa Uber tells the story of the opening of the portal into the Chengdu zone. As was custom of the era, the Vancouver Titans were running their typical triple tank, triple support comp with main tank Bumper at the helm. However, this was the beginning of Chengdu doing Chengdu things, and with Amon, the Wrecking Ball giant at main tank on the other side, things were going to get a little silly. When the match settled into a triple mirror with Reinhardt, aka Bumper, versus Amon, that's where the fun started. The Hunters weren't just hanging on, they were taking it to the Titans in every way possible. And in the middle of it all was Amon, who countered every Earthshatter from Bumper with a bigger, chattier Earthshatter. Did the Titans underestimate their opponents? Perhaps. But that doesn't take away from just how impressive the Hunters looked in a comp that was essentially off-meta for them. Although Vancouver pulled out the W, the damage was done. The community response to this match was swift, vicious, and hilarious. And that's what makes this match legendary. If there's one thing to remember about 2019, it's that you could tune in at pretty much any given time and find the stacked Vancouver Titans beating up on someone with their mastery of, triple tank, triple support, and typically they were scrapping with the San Francisco Shock. These two teams would continue to trade blows all the way up until the 2019 Grand Finals. But their first real matchup for real stakes is this Stage 1 final. In this best-of-7 map stage final, both San Francisco and Vancouver had traded blows map by map.
It's huge!
Leading to a 3-3 tie and decisive showdown on Rialto. The Shock posted a decent 6 minutes and 51 on their full attack, and then it was the Titans' turn. In true blink-and-you'll-miss-it style, the Titans snowballed 2 early picks into 2 teamfight wins and the first point, barely stopping the payload or committing any ults. From that moment on, whether it was ultimate advantage or surprise combo kills, the Shock were backpedaling against the swarming hive mind of Titans players. And all the while, the payload moved on. When the dust had settled, the Titans had set a blistering record pace of 333, a Rialto record that would stand for over a year. The Shock were devastated. And while they put up a valiant effort on their time banker tank, and also, if I might add, doing some pretty impressive casting,
But Violet goes down early, Sinatra's next. Is this the final stand from the Shock?
the math was nigh impossible to overcome.
And the Vancouver Titans stand on the precipice. They say the North never forgets. But now the North will never be forgotten.
And the Titans cemented themselves as kings of the league, at least for the moment. Now, of course, we all remember where we were when Shanghai finally broke the 0-42 curse.
History has been made!
But do you remember where you were when Shanghai broke GOATs? While everybody was predicting another matchup between San Francisco and Vancouver in the third and final stage playoffs, it was the supremely creative Shanghai Dragons who proved their mettle. In the title match, with Youngjin on Doomfist and Ding on Pharah, finally, DPS heroes back in the mix, the team who had been confounded for so long in the season prior would take a commanding 3-0 lead. However, the Shock made some inspired adjustments to claw their way back and force a decisive 7th map. The Dragons would ultimately deny the reverse sweep, and a team of veteran competitors who'd finally made their mark as meta innovators finally got their crowning moment. The Dragons put on a masterclass on how to defeat the GOAT Scourge just in time for Rollock to come into play next stage. Yet another reason why this match will always have a special place in League history. With the Shock and Titans trading blows all season long, they were destined to meet at the Wells Fargo Center in the grand finals. But not without some trials and tribulations along the way. It was unexpected. No one saw the Atlanta Reign taking the Shock to 7 maps, let alone winning. The Shock were the Shock, but Atlanta looked like a legitimate postseason threat after the meta shifted to double shield comps, and Gator was a revelation on Sigma. But really, this match went down in infamy for one moment alone: the C9. This match produced one of the most infamous endings in League history, one of the most memeable moments in League history, and yes, some of the strangest vocal cord effects from yours truly.
One for poke push, supercharging. No! Are you kidding me? What to see? They walked off the cards!
Alas, while the loss sent the Shock reeling into the lower bracket of the playoffs, it ultimately fueled a championship runback so nasty it left scorch marks on the rest of the competition.
The San Francisco Shock are your 2019 Overwatch League champions!
Head to the Overwatch League Twitter now to vote for your favorite match of the 2019 season and stay subscribed to the Overwatch League YouTube page as we recap each season.